Today I want to talk about how rock bottom is not the end point, it is your ignition point. And so if you think about your life, there are events that happen, good, bad, however we label them, that you will remember as turning points in your life, right? For some people, it's graduating high school. For some people, it's when you got married, when you had your kid, when you got divorced, maybe there was a tragedy in your life. There's always these defining moments. And some of them, unfortunately, are considered rock bottom moments. I remember one of my rock bottom moments was stepping on the scale, seeing that it said over 200 pounds, and then breaking down in tears alone on a bathroom floor. Like that is one of the most defining moments I remember in my life. But I wish I had this perspective at the time to help me get out of this rock bottom faster and, meet that potential future me sooner. And so again, rock bottom is not your end point, ladies. It is your ignition point. A slingshot needs to be pulled back in order to shoot forward. And that is how you must view every setback that you are going to face in your life and on your weight loss journey. And I was reminded of this today, actually. I had a conversation with a lady, and we were just talking about her goals and her next steps. And I asked her, I wanted to know, where are you right now with your confidence levels, right? Like your body confidence level. How comfortable are you in your body on a scale of 1 to 10? And she said, I'm about a 6 out of 10. Now, for some of you, that may sound high, right? Because if you're anything like I was when I was at my rock bottom or my low points with my weight, I'd give myself like a 2 out of 10 on the confidence scale, to be honest. I was always hiding my body. I'd wear the same sweater all the time. My family would make fun of me. And I only had about 2 pairs of pants that would still fit me. So I wore the same pair of pants all day long. So this lady, she said she's a 6 out of 10. Now, old me would have thought, wow, what a high number. New me thinks that's still an incredibly low number. 6 out of 10? Is that how you want to live your life? 60% of your potential? That's practically 50%, which means you are only halfway to what life could be. Isn't that crazy? That's not good. That's actually awful. I have extremely high standards for myself and extremely high standards for you, as I'm sure you do for yourself. After all, are we not our biggest critic? Right? And so this lady proceeded to tell me that she was a 6 out of 10. And in my heart, it hurt to hear because that's a really crappy number. Now, is it better than where she started? Absolutely. So should we take a second and appreciate? 100%. But what we don't want to do is get comfortable because the number has gone up does not mean that it is time to stop or it is a sign to slow down. So 6 out of 10 to me, as your coach, as a weight loss expert, as somebody who's done this a lot, is a red flag number. Because it's like, you don't want to say a 5 because that sounds like really low. But like you don't want to say a 7 because you really know you're not that confident. You're not strutting around in a bikini, are you? You're not walking around on a nude beach feeling good. No, no. So 6 is kind of like this weird no man's land of, no confidence. It's just like coasting, right? And so I proceeded to ask her, why would you choose a 6? Because I was really, really curious, And she proceeded to say, it's because I'm not happy where I am, but I'm not unhappy. Who said that before? Y'all, everybody listening to this is guilty. Oh, I'm not. Does that sentence make sense at all? How can you be not happy but not unhappy at the same time? That makes zero sense. Pick one. And if you're not happy, then guess what? By default, you are unhappy. Right? And now unhappy does not mean miserable and you hate your life and you're ungrateful. Unhappy does mean you will not accept your current reality, which makes sense because you're here anyway. You're here to change your reality, right? And so it's this weird, she was in this weird no man's land of, I'm not unhappy, but I'm happier than I was. And it's funny because I almost prefer you to be incredibly unhappy than neutral. Neutral doesn't go anywhere. When you're sitting in a car and you put it into neutral, you go anywhere? Not really. When you put it into reverse, at least you're going somewhere and you can go somewhere fast. But neutral, oh boy, do I see a lot of goals go there to die. That complacency, that this is okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. But here's the trick, ladies. Unhappiness cracks the surface to allow change to shine in. It is the pain, the passion, the intensity behind allowing yourself to admit that you are unhappy. That is when real change has a chance to shine through. But if you try to convince yourself that you are okay, right? I'm not unhappy. I'm not happy. I could see some changes, but I'm not unhappy. There's no cracks to be seen, and therefore change cannot shine through. And as I continued to speak with this woman, she even started to tell me about her patterns. She says, usually about this weight is when I slow down and plateau. Huh. Never could have guessed that one based on how she was talking, huh? She even told me that, when I lose that 10 to 15 pound mark, that's normally when I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. A little bite here doesn't hurt. I'm not going to take this as serious. I plateau. And then, a couple months later, boom, I'm back where I started. And let me tell you, that pattern, if you have that pattern, it can be so easily fixed just by admitting you're not a 6 out of 10. You get what I'm saying here? It all stems back to how you are viewing your reality and how you are viewing the future reality that you could create. By saying you're a 6 out of 10, it's saying that your reality, like that future version of you, is not as exciting. It's not super exciting, right? You're not jumping out of bed to go meet her. You're not jumping out of bed to go try to achieve what she would be proud of. You're just kind of comfortable. And, warriors, they are forged. They are not born. And I bet if I sat down with every single one of you and you told me your story, I bet you'd bring tears to my eyes. I bet if I knew your story, you were a hell of a warrior. Have you been through some shit? Have you been through some shit that would leave my mouth on the floor? So you are a warrior. You've earned that title. You have been forged through fire. What are you going to do with all of this? All these lessons learned, all this sharpening of your wit, of your thick skin, of your forgiveness, your gratefulness, these warrior qualities. What are you going to do? Does a warrior sit at a 6? Did you survive all of this time, all of that shit, just to be here? Just to be not unhappy? Really? That's how you describe your life? Not unhappy? Is that warrior worthy, ladies? I don't frickin' think so. Stop selling yourself short. It's funny because the pains that we feel, it's like, it's not bad, right? The discomfort you feel looking at yourself in the mirror. That uncomfortable feeling when you're in a crowd and you're pulling at your shirt so it doesn't cling to your rolls, right? When you're in a swimming pool and you're having to wear a t-shirt, when you're in pictures and you want to stand behind somebody, right? This discomfort, it's not something to hide from, be ashamed of, or feel bad about. A negative emotion doesn't have to negatively impact your life. A negative emotion can positively impact your life because all that it is a message from your intuition. It's a message from your deeper consciousness saying, hey, did you know that this might be a problem? Did you know that this might be holding you back? And the pain will get louder if we try to ignore it instead of lean into it. Leaning into pain does not mean you are in pain. It means you're just tapping into this intense energy that is inside you that you actually need to tap into if you want to make change. Why? Because is change easy? No. So To change, you need what's called inertia. Inertia in physics land means a big kick in the butt. You need a little extra effort in the beginning to get started, but once you are started, it's like the rock is going down the hill. But in the beginning, it feels like you're pushing it up the hill a little bit, but we give up halfway up the hill. We give up right before it crests. And if we just took a second and looked, we could see that we're like 2 feet away from pushing that rock down a hill, and it gets easier. But people put themselves through so much pain trying to avoid pain. Think about that. Isn't that funny? We put ourselves through so much pain just trying to avoid pain. Well, let me unpack that. Well, they say beauty is pain, isn't it? And women, we tend to be pretty vain creatures. Let's just be honest. We want to look good. Nothing wrong with that. But what do we do to look good? Let's think about all the pain we do. Well, we get our eyebrows done. We wax. We do our nails. We do our eyelashes. We glue hair to our eyes. That's a weird new one, right? We pierce our ears. We tattoo our bodies. Now, none of these are bad, but I can tell you 75% of the time we are choosing these things, it is because we think they are improving us or we feel bad about ourselves, and those are band-aids. Do you know that when I lost weight, I stopped waxing my eyebrows? I didn't really care. When I lost my 80 pounds, I didn't get my nails done as much. When I lost my 80 pounds, I didn't even shop as much. I thought I would. But you know what the best accessory is? A fit, healthy body. I stopped wearing so much jewelry. I stopped doing my hair. It goes up all the time because I feel fantastic, simple. I don't need things to distract myself, shiny objects to think I look good. Because beauty is one of the areas we put ourselves through pain to avoid the other pain of actually changing and getting healthy, losing weight, getting fit. You guys following? That's one area. Another area is the pain of an unhappy marriage. When I was overweight, I don't care who you are not as connected as you can be to your spouse. You just can't be. You cannot be. I didn't want to get intimate. I was hiding my body. I was flinching when my husband would grab my stomach. He loved me. He supported me. He thought I was beautiful. I didn't think I was beautiful. And he can feel that. I don't care if you think you can't. They can feel it. Your children can feel it. You know it. Of course. It doesn't make sense. Why are you here listening to me? Because you know you need to change. Why do you know you need to change? Because you know the consequences. The pain of not changing is more than the pain of staying the same. You know that. That's a good pain. We know that the pain of staying the same, not growing, not being our best selves, that pain sucks. So I'll take the pain of having to change my eating a little bit. I'll take the pain of exercising when I don't feel like it, maybe going to bed a little early, maybe saying no to a social event here or there for my goals, maybe losing a few friends who are bad influences. I choose that pain to give up the pain of not growing. Does that make sense, ladies? So I really want you to think about where in your life are you putting yourself through pain to avoid the actual pain. Does that make sense? Where are we kind of covering? Where is this smoke screen happening? Because until you admit or feel or lean in to the discomfort and that unhappiness and you say, no, I am unhappy, that's not bad. And you're not shitting all over your life. That's not what that is. It's tapping into emotion that's going to give you the inertia you need to get started, to push that rock uphill for a little bit until we can start to roll it down the hill. So for the love of God, stop gluing hair to your eyelashes. No, I'm just kidding. If you love it, go for it. But my point is, ladies, emotions are not good, not bad. It is what you do with them that defines what they are. Every emotion is useful. We wouldn't know what joy was if we didn't experience sadness, truly. So when we feel these, what we call bad emotions, we must be thankful. And we must say, how can I harness this to benefit me? Because in the past, we just let it be and we think there's a problem. Oh, I'm tired. I'm sad. I got into a fight. My boss yelled at me. My kids aren't wanting to hang out with me. X, Y, and Z. And we think that's bad. It is just a message from your intuition to give something new a try. Change. Challenge yourself. Don't be afraid of pain because life's full of it no matter what path you choose. Use it because that's what warriors do. And I know you're a warrior.